All right, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. I save things. These are cast-offs of watercolor paper and a couple of envelopes. Those don't go here. And then I find uses for these. I found one this size today, and I thought we could make a card. Are you ready? Let's get started. Really cool kind of linen textured cards that I don't know where I got them from. They're probably pretty old. And then I have this little piece of rough watercolored paper, and I thought that could make a cute card. Let's paint a Columbine. Our photo reference today is from Pixabay. Okay, so what we have when we have a Columbine is I'm using a color erase pencil, by the way. So let's see what we have here. Columbines have 5 petals. Let's start in the center kind of with this one that's going to come out. I'm still drawing very lightly. I'll zoom in. I don't know if you guys can see or not. There, now you can probably see that. And this is a white flower, obviously this portion of it is. And so what we'll be able to do is go over with some shading to make it so that it looks white, because we're using white paper, so we can leave some of it white. But actually, when you look at this flower, it's picking up just about every color that's around it. Lots of purple and gray. And then we've got all the yellow stamens in there. So let's see here, we've got these purple petals that come out. Like so. This one's going to end up going off of our paper. This one has a neat shape to it. It comes up and has a little bend in it here. And then this one back here is a little bit twisted. And this one too is going to end up going off. So let me grab my paints. Oh, how can I set this up? I'll put this over here. And I'm going to take this mixing palette out. Oy, sorry about that. And I'm going to mix over here on this side. I think you guys will be able to see that. And the brush I'm going to use today, this is a Princeton Neptune Heritage brush. So I'm just going to get my brush wet. And what I want to do first is kind of work on this background. So I'm just going in and getting the paper wet where the flower is not. But I'm just kind of leaving a loose edge there. So you'll see here, I'm gonna put some of this spring green tone in there. And then we'll add some of this emeraldy one. So you can see our background's gonna just kind of be real loose like that. So let's do this side as well. I don't want to go all the way to the edge. What I do want to do though, is when I've got it all set up in there, I want to go ahead and add some drops of water to this background. Let's see if we can get some cool effects that way. I want to put the lightest green closest to the flower. And then we'll get those darker shades kind of on the perimeter, because that'll create a little vignette for us. Always working against keeping my paper dry. I mean, sorry, working against my paper drying out, trying to keep things damp. Always a challenge, always a challenge. tell you what, for student grade paints, these are decent little paints. I don't know if the sets are still for sale. Of all of the student grade paints that I have, these definitely would rank as my favorite. Okay, so let's see what we can do about getting some drops of water in here and force some cauliflower blooms back here. See what that does to our design. Just kind of playing with it. All right, and we'll be back when that is dry. Okay, now we'll be back when it's dry. Here's what it looks like now. We'll see what it looks like when we return. Well, it's had a chance to dry enough. My intentional cauliflower blooms didn't do a whole lot, but no problem. We'll set that down. All right, so what I want to do is start with a very, very faint wash. I'm going in with this darkest purple here. And I'm going to start by building the shadows in the center of the columbine. About like so. And I think I've got time to work on a couple at once. Very light shadows, and then we'll go in just with a much heavier concentration and just tap it in along the edge here to create that depth at where it's darkest. All right, and then we'll move on to the next one. Bringing that one up a bit, and there's a little shadow over here too. And then I'll tap in down here. And two more. This one's mostly going to be behind the center portion of the flower, so I'm not really going to do a whole lot with that one in particular, but I will run the wash up here just a little for the shadow. Okay, and then on this side over here we've got the final one, and the bulk of it is down here. And let's see, the darkest portion of this one is kind of right in here. So when you look at these closely, the petals do have some striations of grays and purple. And now we've got not too many petal lines visible except for in this one here. But that with that dark purple there, this one, I'm going to go in and use a thin wash again. And I'm going to do the shadows here. So it's going to look a little weird at first. And then I'll come in and take care of these a little. We'll come in later with the shading to get these petals shaped the way we want. Just getting in the base wash first. This petal here has some interesting shapes on it, the way it's turned. Okay, two more. But right now we've definitely got this skewed purple. So we're gonna go back in and add some blue tones, and that'll help us get these highlights set the way we want it. because with all of these, it's going to be darkest on the outside. And I am going wet into damp here, because what I want to do is give that a soft edge. Shadow there, and kind of in here, and then under here, right here. All right, now I'm going to dry this. It doesn't look like much right now, but I promise it will. And now let's see what we've got here. That looks pretty darn good. I think what I'm going to do, though, is press it before I mount it. Brought over my corner rounder. There we go. And this will be the card. So let me get my trusty glue stick. And I just got another little idea that I think might be kind of cute. I'm just going to go around this. In gold. So this is all dry now. One thing I want to tell you, you don't have to use a white pen to write on these cards. We can just go ahead and insert some white paper. I want to make this a 1/2 inch smaller on the side. And so we'll put it behind the blade 1/2 inch. There we go. Now on the bottom, I'm only going to trim off 1/4 inch, which is here. I'll trim off just a touch more though. Nope. There. There, yeah, that's better. This one's perfect. Just a natural jute. All right, so now what I'm going to do is run this through. So let's see, I want it to be twice as long, plus about 1/2. So that's the piece I'm using. So when you're punching, don't punch on your work surface. You want to punch on a self-healing mat, or like this, just very delicately in the air. I'm just using a very gentle punch there. I want the punch to go inside, and on this one, I want the punch to go outside. So let me mark where these are going to be. And I'll punch here and here. Okay. So this way, the part that comes out from the punch, they'll be touching each other. There we go. Now we're cooking with heat. Okay. So there's our card. And now we'll get these kind of even-ish. A little knot. And a bow. And this way you can have a little embellishment and it won't cost any more to mail. Make that just a touch bit smaller. And then I'm going to give you another little trick. Put that there and there. Get out your glue stick again. Just kind of glue these little ends together. So that they don't undo themselves. And then with my other glue, there. Don't forget to sign the back. And then when that dries, you'll have a nice, sweet little card to send someone. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys make some cards today. Have a good one. Bye.